Shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the Heavenly Father, and Yahweh Shai is the Son of the Most High, the Messiah, which these are the true names of the Most High God, and His only begotten Son, in the ancient Hebrew tongue, in Lashon Kodash, which means holy language, or holy tongue. Also want to give double honors to the elder apostles, and to the elder bishops, and to the upcoming elders that rule well at GMS. Right, also of the affiliates of GMS. I want to give peace and blessings unto the elect, and salute shalom to the fellow laborers pushing this truth, to the house of David, to the 144,000, and Lord willing, this lesson's edifying, which the focus of this lesson is concerning ultimately Edom, right, and his demise, if you will, his downfall. Because ultimately, the whole focus of these lessons is really to warn, to warn, right, to warn the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indian around the world to take heed to these words, for evil is about to come, for the Lord is about to bring evil, and He's about to bring evil upon Edom, which is the wicked, the border of wickedness. Now, who is Edom? Edom is the so-called white man. The so-called white man. Right? Edom is the people that the Lord hateth. And that's mentioned in the scriptures. Edom, it is prophesied that in the Bible it is prophesied that this people, Edom, which is the wicked, will be given the earth for a season and a time, right? And this is the age where he ruleth, right? But it's also prophesied that, right, the Lord have appointed his bounds, determined his end, so we're entering into the final stages of his kingdom, if you will, the final stages of his reign on this earth, of his governance on this earth, of America, right, the Western world. Right, we're entering into the final stages of that empire, if you will, of that supremacy, if you will. Right, and we're seeing it shift to that. We're seeing the minds of the world, right, the minds of the nations shift to hating Esau, shift to exposing Esau, shift to realizing who Esau is. To be the devil, to be Satan, to be that kingdom that shaketh the nations, right, and dealeth unjustly, that gotteth, unjust gains through his wicked works. He's being exposed for who he truly is, if you will. And you're seeing the minds of the world, the minds of the nations, realizing that, realizing that America, Israel, and the Western world is, ultimately adverse, whether to their own countries, to their own people, to their religions, or adverse to God, But what inspired me to do this lesson is because I saw a post. In fact, let's get it real quick. I saw a Twitter post that made me think, and this Twitter post was posted by some Syrian girl, and basically she it's a woman that posted it, and basically it's the headline says this. It says, "Remember when Israel lied about 40 burnt, beheaded babies, and the mainstream media regurgitated the lies?" And that's what they do, right? Because I think a few months, I don't really know how long ago it was, but I think a few months ago, right, if I'm not mistaken, it was said that Hamas Hamas beheaded and burnt 40 children, 40 babies, man. And this is something that Israel said, that Israel, this is one of the accusations of Israel and America. And we see that, flood the internet, right? Social media, the media, mainstream media, quickly, man. Even though there was no proof, right? And, throughout history, throughout, times, we know that Esau, the so-called white man, have used, the mainstream media, social media, the internet as a tool, right? He have used, a thing called propaganda, right? In fact, what do the word propaganda means? Propaganda means information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. So basically, it's a method that Esau useth to shift or to guide the minds or the perspectives of the world, of the people of the world. And this is something that Esau have used so much, and in fact, the scripture, this is his way of doing things, right? For his benefit, for his gain, or for his advantage. He useth lies, deception, right? He useth these different weapons, and a weapon don't gotta come in the form of an instrument of death. It could come in the form of in the scriptures, the tongue can be likened unto a weapon, to a sword. The teeth can be likened unto iron, if you will. So this man speaketh through these different platforms to for his advantage, to deceive the people for his advantage, and that's what he been doing for so long, man. And the scriptures basically implies this when it comes to this man. And one thing about the world don't know is the Bible telleth you about certain things, right? Certain points, certain matters, right? And certain people. The Bible literally is somewhat a revealer, if you will. In fact, let's get that. Let's get Hebrews real quick. Let's get Hebrews, Salakia, chapter 4. I was going to get and I may get it as well. Let's get Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12. It says, "For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful," right? So it can save, it can give you life, because the word quick means living or life. So it could give you life. It could breathe into you immortality, and that's ultimately this word, this truth, this doctrine, the knowledge of Yahweh Shai, faith in Yahweh Shai, is ultimately the way of immortality. It says, "And sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow." That's the point right here. It says, "And is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. Neither is there any creature that is not manifest in his sight, but all things are naked and open unto the eyes of him with whom we have to do." So Esau, which is the wicked, which is Satan, the devil that the Bible speak of. If you don't know, I probably should have said this earlier. What has been taught, by the elder apostles, by the elder bishops, by Israel, by other Israelites camp, that Esau, the so-called white man, they are the devil, they are the Satan that the Bible speak of. Because when you come into the truth, you'll learn that when the scriptures, when you see the word Satan or devil in the scriptures, It's 'cause a lot of the times it's referring to a people. Now there is a spiritual demon Satan, but a lot of the times when the scripture speaks about Satan and devil, it's referring to a people, a group of people, a devil-like people. Now, again, there is a spiritual demon Satan, whose name is Shaitan, right? But that name is also used as a title for certain people, if you will. Revelation chapter 12, John the Revelator spoke about that dragon, that old serpent, the devil. He was referring to the in certain points in that chapter, he was referring to the Roman Empire. So the devil and Satan that the Bible speaks of is a lot of times referring to Esau, the so-called white man. So this Bible, these scriptures, ultimately reveal who he is as a person, as a people. Reveal what he's about, reveal his impulses, his instincts. Reveal what he did in the past, and it reveals what he's going to do. And that's where you get the word prophecy from, which means to say before. The prophets have prophesied what he's about and what he's going to be about, what he's going to do, if you will. And what do the scriptures say about Esau Edom? Let's get it real quick. Let's get the book of First John, Salakia. Not First John, but St. John chapter 8, verse 44. It says, ye are of your father the devil. So this is referring to Esau Edom. And the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. Now who was Yahweh Shah referring to? He was referring to when he said he was a murderer from the beginning, he was referring to Cain. Now is Esau Cain? No, we're not saying that. But the same spirit, the same wavelength, the same role, the same lot that Cain had is the same role and lot and wavelength that the so-called white man have now. There's a similarity between that old serpent in the garden, Cain, and the so-called white man, starting with the elites. There's a similarity with these three, and the scriptures clearly implies that. So Esau, he is that old serpent. He is that murderer from the beginning, if you will. Symbolically speaking, it says he was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, right? When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. For he is, this the point, for he is a liar and the father of it. So Esau, he's the father of propaganda, if you will. He's the father of propaganda. He's a father of these different techniques, political techniques, to deceive and to condition the minds of the people. He's the father of these things because ultimately he is Lucifer that Isaiah spoke about. When you go into the book of Isaiah chapter 14, the prophet Isaiah spoke about Lucifer. Now in this world, they think, especially in Christianity and in Catholic religion, they think Lucifer is another name for Satan, which we already taught you on who Satan is. Lucifer is not another name. Well, technically it is, because Esau, he is Satan, right? But it's not referring to the spiritual demon Satan, to the evil angel Satan. It's referring to Esau Edom. The word Lucifer, in fact, let's get it real quick. So right now he's being revealed, and he's been revealed, and he's still being revealed by the prophets, by the elder apostles, by the elder bishops, the GMS, even those over them. You know, even their elders been exposing Esau. You know, even to this day, with the prophets, with the evangelists, with the teachers that came under the elder apostles and elder bishops. Even you have other Israelite camps, that expose who Esau is. Isaiah chapter 14 verse 12. So this is the scripture that refer Lucifer, but that mentions the word Lucifer. This is also ultimately referring to the so-called white man and the elites. Really, the elites. When we speak about white man, the so-called white people, we really redirecting it to the heads, if you will, the elites, the rich, the powerful, those who control or is running this Western world, if you will. But all of them in general, ultimately, but they all gonna receive their condemnation. But ultimately, let's read this. Isaiah chapter 14 verse 12. It says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?" Right? And this is ultimately a scripture that implies that the so-called white man and this Western world, America, will ultimately have an end. Starting with America. America will be destroyed by nuclear fire, by nuclear warheads. And that's prophesied all throughout the scripture. Isaiah chapter 13, Revelation chapter 18, Revelation chapter 17. Babylon the Great being fallen, the great whore being burnt with fire. So now let's go into that word Lucifer. When you go into that word Lucifer, it means what? Light bearer or shining one. And basically that's the reason why he has this title is because he holds light and wickedness. Right? He holds light and wickedness. He's knowledgeable, in a lot of secrets. He's in the know of a lot of things. He ultimately right, these secret societies, these elites. What's one of the titles that the nations gave them, that the people gave them? Illuminati, secret societies. Right, and these are the groups of people, if you will, that's in the know, if you will, that's knowledgeable, that's knowledgeable in witchcraft, sorcery, and left-hand sided wisdom and knowledge and understanding. And not only that, he's knowledgeable of what's going on in the world and what's really going on in the world while the rest of the people are in darkness. You have conspiracy theorists, who come into the know to a certain degree, but now the prophets were the true prophets of Yahweh Basham and Yahweh Shai, is in that light, if you will, but not in the light that Esau is in, but in Yahweh Shai, man. And we're being exposed to the truth, we're being enlightened. But Esau, in his degree, in his certain area, he's enlightened, if you will. So that's why he's known as Lucifer. And again, going to that word Illuminati. The word Illuminati means illuminated, or the illuminated ones. So you can see that word, you can see the similarity between the word Lucifer, or the title Lucifer, and the title Illuminati. It's basically interchangeable, if you will, and that's spiritual, because for a long time, Illuminati. Then we come into this truth, we realize that Esau, he's Lucifer that the Bible speak of, which is still referring to that same, referring to that light illumination, if you will, if you understand, So Esau, him being, given the earth, he's crafty. He's crafty, he's sly, he's sensible. He's wise in his own way. That ultimately, leads to the evil of the people, to the destruction of the world. He's wise in wickedness, shall I say. And again, going to what, going into that Twitter post, he, he uses the media to regurgitate lies, to push forth propaganda. He's the father of it. He's the father of these lies, and that's what he is about. But right now, you have things changing, and the reason why I say that, when you read more into that Twitter post, it says this: remember when Israel lied about 40 burnt, beheaded babies, and the mainstream media regurgitated the lies? Yet the same media ignores it when it's actually happened to the Palestinians. They don't see Palestinians as equally human. And that's another example on how Esau, he uses these different things, he uses these different methods, he uses social media as a weapon, to get his way, to have his way on the earth, even to hide himself, and to demonize the other, if you will. And this is not the only time he did it. This is not the only day he did, man. He has a long track record on the earth for saying something but completely lying. Look what he did to the so-called Native Indians. Look how many treaties that America have broken. And it's so more, things that he did with the other nations, with Israel, Right, and when you go into this post, you ultimately see a photo of a burnt Palestinian child, a gruesome photo, But, again, going into what inspired me to do this lesson is because everywhere you go, social media, YouTube, whatever application you got, Twitter, everywhere you go, you have Esau being exposed. And that's really, that thought, of me thinking that and, acknowledging that made me want to do this lesson, because I wanted to touch on how the nations, they're ultimately being stirred up against Esau, Edom, against this Western world, against America, against Edom and Amalek. They're being stirred up against them. Right? You're seeing a shift in the attitudes of the people, if you will. So, like, bear with me. Right? You're seeing a shift in the mentalities of the world. Right? They're hating America. They're hating Israel. They're hating the Western world. Right? Even, on a smaller level, because, on my free time, in my leisure, if you will, I watch, a couple of streamers. I watch, a couple of influencers and stuff like that. Streamers and stuff like that. In my free time, just pass the time by. Even these motherfuckers are coming against the Western world. I mean, how many YouTubers, and the streamers and influencers that I watch, are ultimately red people. I think red. I meant to say red pill people, if you will, if you understand what I'm talking about, like people who so-called woke, if you will, right? And everybody and their mother is acknowledging that this Western world, America, is evil, man. I was watching this one streamer, and he's a Jew. He's a small hat. I probably should have said that word, but he's a small hat. He's a J, if you will. And the comments, which he's a popular streamer. Thousands and thousands and thousands of views. Damn near. These are the type of people that's leading the culture. Wicked. But you see, you watch these comments. They're saying they're basically mocking him, scoffing at him. Right, Jew, commenting Jew, J in all caps, when a streamer say something weird or wicked, or do something weird and wicked, right? They type in some like, of course, Jay, because ultimately this Esau, he has a certain spirit in him that the world is acknowledging to be wicked. If you understand, if you keeping up with what I'm trying to say, if you will, right? Even to the politicians are acknowledging this man to be wicked, to be off. There's even reports on in fact, let's just read it, and let's just read this quick post real quick. Salaki. I probably won't be able to find it, but basically it's a post concerning, I think it was I ain't gonna touch it on because I can't really get to it right now, but let's just get a couple of scriptures on what I'm saying, because I was ready to touch on another report, but I can't really get to it, so I'm gonna just hold my tongue on that matter, if you will. But I want to go to the book of Job real quick. I want to go to the book of Job. On Job chapter 18, verse 5, it says, "Yeah, the light of the wicked, yeah, that Lucifer." So you gotta be able to first you need a spirit to to be to receive these revelations, and you need to be taught. So knowing that it says the light of the wicked is referring to Lucifer, is referring to Esau, Edom. It says, "Yeah, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. The light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out with him." And in the last lesson that I made, which ultimately I'm doing this lesson again, right? Because I wasn't very pleased with the whole video. I wanted to touch on this matter again, right? But in this last lesson, I was basically speaking on how this world is about to get unpredictable for Esau, because for so long Esau predicted. Esau, he's Lucifer, he's the Illuminati, right? He's a strategist in his own league, if you will. And I'm not trying to up him up, but he's a strategist in wickedness, right? The scriptures plainly tell you that he's a wise man. In fact, concerning that old serpent, it says he is more subtle than any beast of the field. So Esau, he's wise in his own way, but in wickedness. So when it comes to Esau, throughout history, throughout the reign of this Western world of America, this man have done so much wickedness, but was able to hide himself. This man was the start of so many things, but was able to cover himself, if you understand. When he want oil, or when he want land, when he want gain or advantage or benefits on the earth, he doeth unjustly, if you will. He dealeth falsely, and he do it by violence a lot of the times, man. Look what he did, when it comes to the history of the Hawaiians, if you will. So this man has a track record on the earth. it says, but this is the point. It says the steps of his strength shall be straightened, right? So the steps of his strength shall be straightened. So right now, Esau, he's working towards his new world order, his NWO. He's working towards his enterprise, if you will. And Esau, he do have an intent. The scriptures reveal that about him. He has a desire, right? He desires a certain world, if you will, and that's a world where that's a world of of digital currency, a cashless society, a world under him when he's God, where he show himself as God. And he's going, one of the ways he's going to do that, ultimately he's going to bring forth the MOTB, which is the MARK chip implant. The chip implant, and which will be an implantable device implanted in the skin and the flesh of the people, and that's going to be used as a way of transaction, as a way of buying and selling. Right now they already have palm reading scanners. People already buying stuff, selling stuff with their palms. People already got the MOTB, the mark of the who, in their flesh. Look it up. You got a lot of people who have chip implants in their hands already. But that's the world. That's what he's about to push upon the world. Right. So Esau, he's working toward his new world order. And also not only that, but a couple of things. So he's working towards a new world order, but ultimately it's going to be straightened, right? It's going to become real. Now, when you go into that word straighten, it means difficulty, or plight, if you will. In fact, let's look it up real quick. So it's about to become real unpredictable for E. The word straight means difficulty, trouble, crisis, a predicament, a plight. So yeah, and it's going to become real unpredictable in these last days for E. Because E, he's going to receive hurt, man. And it's also prophesied, just to mention it, touch it on there from time. It's prophesied that the beast, which is the EU, the European Union, will end up hating America, which is the whore. And that's prophesied in the book of Revelation chapter 10. And it's prophesied the EU, NATO, they will have their part in destroying America as well. Right, so that's another thing that Esau won't be able to predict, man. So a lot of things will happen in these last days, in this man's action, because of this man's action. It says, and his own counsel shall cast him down. Right, and it's prophesied that ultimately Israel, which ultimately those so-called Israelites, they're Amalek, right? They're Edom, right? They're not the true Hebrew Israelites, the biblical Israelites that are mentioned in the scriptures. They're not the true Israelites. The Israelites, prophesied that the Israelites will have been discontinued or cut off from their heritage and scattered amongst the nations. And in captivity, there's many prophecies that point to that circumstance, when it comes to Israel. So seeing Israel, so-called Israelites in their lands, we know that they're not the true Israelites. Also, Yahushua prophesied that the heathen, right, the heathen Gentiles will ultimately have their part in that land. That's what's happening now. This is the season where the heathens are in that land. So they are not the true Hebrew Israelites. They're people that took that identity, upon themselves. They inherited lies, right? And it's being exposed on who the true Hebrew Israelites are, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, right? Which are ultimately under these curses, which are feeling the effect of these prophecies, which are ultimately supernatural in a certain sense. Are not these curses that's mentioned in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 supernatural? Right? These curses hover over the heads of the true Israelites like a cloud, a dark cloud. Black on black crime, brown on brown crime. Violence, culture full of violence, gang violence. Being the poor, being those in the hoods and the slums, being those that are populating these prison holes, jails. The scripture speaks about that. And who do that apply to? Who identify with that? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and the Native Indians. Because we are they that halted. We are they that are cursed by the curses mentioned in Deuteronomy. Right? But anyways, those people in the land of Israel are not the true Israelites. Right? But what I was saying is prophesying in the book of, I think, Jeremiah or Ezekiel, that the least of the flock, which represents those Israelites, shall draw them out. Basically, it's prophesied that Israel will ultimately have a part in destroying America, or in a part in leading America to its demise, if you will. So basically, here it is, America, is following behind Israel. It's ultimately going to lead. That's ultimately going to be its own demise. It's setting itself up. And right now, you even have reports of America being humiliated in the sight of the nations. Right? There's so much speculation, so much talk about America not having the naval force, the force or the ability to be a guard, if you will, onto these other nations. Don't have the force and the ability to be even a kingdom to even police the world, because that's kind of the role that America has taken in history, man. To be somewhat a defense onto the nations, a guardian, if you will. A helper onto the nations. Well, there's so much talks about America not having the ability to even come against the Muslim world, to even put up a fight against the Muslim world. Now you got a lot of people saying that America will lose if they come against the Islamic world. Against the Houthis, I think I'm pronouncing it right. Hamas, the Yemenis, or whatever whatever different sects, if you will, different groups of people that is, if you will, if you've been keeping up on what's going on in the world with Israel, Palestine, if you know. Because right now you have the Muslim world gathering together. Different sects, different groups gathering together, and they're putting up a great resistance. And America know it, and the people they're seeing it. They're seeing that America don't have the force that it think it has, if you will. The force that is portraying it has, if you will. Right? And I remember a term a long time ago I came across, a term that said, that is called the white tiger. I meant to say paper tiger, which is ultimately a term used for a person or a people or a certain group that portrays to be that present itself to be strong, but not really strong. And really, America is playing that role in these last days, man. And that's why his own council You know, Esau, Edom, America, its own counsel shall lead to its demise, if you will. You know, there's reports, I think, that came out earlier concerning China releasing strange objects in the heavens over America. And you can look it up. Look up China and look up objects, in space over America. I'm sure they lead you to that information, a new report that came out. And that may have something to do with an attack, an attack, a black, that may, hey man, Israel, Esau, there's going to be some insecurity, whether a blackout, EMP, or whatever. It's going to be some type of insecurity, man. Civil war, these things will happen, man. These things will happen because ultimately Esau, he know that he has but a short time, and he's going to start moving, man. And these things may be these attacks may come from these nations, who knows, or it may come from Esau himself, because he's the man that, again, he's more crafty than any beast of the field. So if there's some blackout, some civil war, best believe that chaos was started by E, man. Was produced by E. Some attack on America's infrastructure, best believe it was produced by E, man. Because now E, he putting forth these movies, Leave the World Behind, Civil War, which that's ultimately a tool called predictive programming, where he show you before he do it, man. So he's preparing for some. So from there, I'm gonna read this. Continue on. It says, "And his own counsel shall cast him down, for he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon a snare." I actually wanted to I really wanted to touch on this report, Salakia. But let's read this again. It says, "For he is cast into a net by his own feet." So his own feet, his own paths, his own actions is going to lead to his demise, if you will, his destruction. Let's see if I could get this report from Google real quick. Salaki, if I could find it. So this is from the first post.com, and the headline says this: "Why members of U.S.-led coalition in Red Sea are hesitating in their participation." It basically read down, it says the game of Houthi rebels versus the West is being played out in the Red Sea, with the Houthis making the first move. They it says they picked off commercial ships one by one, so the West responded. So I guess the West, America, have called for its members, if you will, to have to basically be a guard in that in the Red Sea, if you will. right? Well, it's going, because I'm not really knowledgeable what that's about, but it's going to say it right here. It says the West have announced a 10-nation maritime coalition. Now, what is a coalition? Let's look into that word real quick. And I'm bringing this out for a reason. It says a coalition is an alliance for combined action, especially in temporary alliance of political parties forming a government or of states. It says sorts of like the Red Sea, Avengers, and that's a role that America like to play, man. That's a role that America like to play. It says these Avengers are barely interested, of course. The U.S. doesn't admit this. So basically, you have these different members, and if I'm not mistaken, it was one of the members was France, I think Spain as well, that is hesitating on this coalition, if you will. It says according to Washington, the coalition is adding new members, which had increased to 20 by Friday. But who are these members? Let's jump down here. It says Khan says, well, Math, let's just read from where I was reading on, so get the full understanding of what's happening in the world. It says these Avengers are barely interested, and remember this is happening in the Red Sea. It says, of course, the U.S. doesn't admit this. And you could learn more of what's going on yourself. It says according to Washington, the coalition is adding new members, which had increased to 20 by Friday. But who are these members? We know 12 of them. The initial 10 plus Greece and Australia. That leaves 8 unknown countries. Apparently, they don't want to be publicly known or named. Max superheroes are all the rage. But this is the real world. So you even got 8 countries who don't even want to be named in the dealings or to be part of the dealings of America. So you have division. You already have the nation. You already have EU countries hating the whore, hating America. Not being with what America is with, if you will. It says down here it says countries love adding their names to groups and coalitions. So if they are not, it means one thing: they're not fully invested. So EU and NATO, they're not, a lot of countries of EU, they're not really with what America's with, what Israel's with. It says, and we don't blame them. Even the known members are not keen. For example, Australia has sent 11 soldiers. That's just few, man. And don't laugh at that, because the Netherlands is sending 2 soldiers. Norway is sending 10. So the question is, where is the new hardware that was promised? It says, well, France and Britain have sent warships again with a writer. The French ships will remain under French command. This is the point. This is what, really, caught my eye. It says, they won't take orders from the U.S. So you got a lot of the EU, members. They not rocking with America, man. They're not trying to be under America. Which, when you go into prophecy, there's an image painted in the book of Revelation, chapter 17. There's an image painted. The whore, which is America, riding upon that beast. That's the image painted in that chapter, in that book. So America is throughout times, is riding upon EU, NATO, using EU, you know. But it's gonna come a time that the beast shall hate the whore and devour the whore and burn the whore with fire, and that's prophesied in that same chapter, which is referring to a lot of these European Union countries members will have their part in destroying America in these last days. EU, NATO, whatever. It says, as for new deployments, there is no word. Same with Italy, which is sending a warship to the Red Sea. But it is not part of the U.S. mission. It is part of existing operations. So it says, this reminds us of a bad party thrown by a good friend. One cannot skip it, nor one cannot stay for long. So what does one do? Token participation. It may save one's friendship, but it won't save the Red Sea. So you have a lukewarm friendship, if you will, with America and EU and NATO. And like I said, there's a shift in the world, man. There's a shift, in the psychology of the earth. The word psychology meaning what? To study the spirit, man. There's a shift in the spirit of the world, man. And it's about to get real unpredictable for Esau, starting with America, And I just wanted to touch on that. I just wanted to touch on how there's a lukewarmness, if you will, in a league, in that certain league, in that coalition, in that partnership, if you will. But from there, I'm gonna go to the book of Psalms, chapter 73. Psalms chapter 73. So bear with me. And before I touch on this, I wanted to touch on this as well. Before I bring out these scriptures, I'm gonna close out probably after that, if the Lord will. Basically, this is from Twitter as well. This is some that YouTuber, Canadian Prepper, posted, and it says basically to touch on the photo first. It says topics suppressed in China are underrepresented on TikTok, study says. This is the report from Network Quotation Research Institute at Rutgers University could raise new concern about whether Beijing in China, it says Beijing influences the content on the popular video app is concerning TikTok. Now let's see real quick, bear with me. Let's see if I probably did, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think I did, but basically there's talks about, even that guy, Canadian Prepper, talked about it, and I'm sure you brothers know it. Basically, it's somebody who touched on the geopolitical events of what's going on in the world, reports of what's going on in the world. Basically, in his own way, he's a watchman in his own way, if you will. But basically, someone who warns and informs, if you will, what's going on. Very world important shit, if you will. But basically, this guy, and there's been talks about how China is influencing the algorithm of TikTok. When it comes to TikTok usage in America and in the Western world, and when it comes to TikTok usage in China. And basically, there's talks about how when it comes to TikTok in America, the algorithm shows, videos and bullshit videos, entertainment, stimulating videos that don't really inform, videos that don't really build a U.S. patriot image, if you will. Because if some of you brothers you got TikTok, you'll understand. You just showed just bullshit videos, entertainment, bullshit, funny videos, woman, some good information, but there's also talks on how, on the contrary, in China, when it comes to their TikTok in China, they're being showed political videos. They're being represented in a good way. When it comes to China, they're being built up patriarchally, if you will. I think that's a word. They're being built up. They're being conditioned, to to be patriarch. I mean, not patriarch, but Salakia. Basically, they're being built up for their own country. Basically, there's a difference in videos, if you will, in TikTok videos when it comes to America and when it comes to China videos. If you understand what I'm trying to say, I use that word, patriarch. Let's see real quick. Salakia. I'm gonna say not patriarch, but basically patriotic, which means having or expression devotion to vigorous support for one's own country. So basically, there's suspicion concerning China using TikTok for their own political advantage. Basically, messing with the algorithm of TikTok in America and messing with the algorithm of TikTok in China. So basically, give you an example, in China they may be showed videos that's ultimately against the American image, against America's politics or way of doing things. And also being showed TikTok videos of videos that support China's image. It's China's way of doing things. It's China's purpose, if you will. But when it comes to America, we're being showed and I believe so as well. In America, I believe that we're being showed TikTok videos of bullshit entertainment. We're even being showed videos that condition our minds to hate America, and that's rightfully so. That's rightfully so, right? And not only that, but also videos of America's wickedness. And one thing I've noticed, and one thing that was talked about by that guy, Canadian Prepper, and by talking about by people in the world, is that when it comes to TikTok in America, there's a lot of videos of people not wanting to be a part of this military, be a part of this turn, if you will, be a part of this of America, being a part of America's army. So basically, in America, you're being showed discouraging videos concerning America, and I believe that is China's influence. That is some that China is doing. which I believe, not only that, but it's happening with the media, with social media, with the internet, with YouTube. Everywhere you go, Esau is being exposed. So the same algorithm that Esau used for his own gain and advantage throughout his time of ruling is being used to kick his ass. And one thing that is called when it comes to China influencing the TikTok app, it's called red herring. And that's a term that is used. Red herring means what? A clue or piece of information that is or is intended to be misleading or distracting. So, and again, the algorithm that Esau once used, propaganda that Esau used, he's the father of it. But now there's propaganda and information and methods being used to come against America and the Western world, to the point where Americans is hating America. America's is divided against itself. There's division in America. There's division in the homes of the world. Of America. So you got people of this own kingdom hating this kingdom. And like I said, if I did say this again, social media, the media, the internet, that's I don't know if I said this, but I said this in a previous lesson. That is a tool. This can be used as a tool to guide and to shift the minds of the people. Where Esau, he's been using that. He knew of that, but now it's being used against him. Because Esau, he won't be able to hinder all this information, all these conspiracy theories that's true, that's really true about him. He can't hinder these things. Influencers is coming against this man. Celebrities is coming against this man, against this kingdom, of how this kingdom is doing things. So right now you have in the nations, there's a shift in the world. And like I said, it's gonna get real unpredictable for E. And that's one of the reasons why you have a lot of bunkers being built, because they know World War III is coming. They know the end is coming. They know Yahweh Shai is coming. A lot of the elites, they know Yahweh Shai is coming soon. The Messiah is coming soon. Because a lot of them, they know the truth in a certain sense, in a certain degree. Right? They know World War III is a very high possibility. And that's why I said, knowing that he had but a short time. So he's preparing, he's preparing for the end. He's building his bunkers, So, and it's ready to get real unpredictable for E. So from there I want to go to Psalm chapter 73 verse and I'm gonna just close off on this probably, if it be the Lord will. Psalm chapter 73, just to give you a rundown on who Esau is as a person and what he's about and what he's and his role, if you will, and his story in these last days. Because whether you want to believe it or not, this world, this existence, this reality, this is the Lord's story. All the nations and all the kingdoms are in his hand. you know, and everything that has happened and that's going to happen have ultimately been foreknown by the Lord, you know, because ultimately the Lord's omnipotent, right? The Lord be setting the seasons. The Lord be the one setting the tones of the world, you know, setting the vibe, the vibration on the earth. For example, wars. That's the Lord bring forth these wars. You know, the Lord bring forth peace on the earth, and in these last days, the Lord will bring forth World War III. You know, the Islamic world, these Islamic countries, nations, peoples, you know, Arab countries, peoples, Russia, you know, will come against America in these last days, man. And you're gonna have a lot of members of the EU and NATO come against America as well in due time. You know, Psalm chapter 73, verse and this is King David basically prophesying about Esau Edom, whether he knew it or not. You know, Psalm chapter 73, Salaki. Let me do this real quick. Salaki. Right, says, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked, and Esau, the so-called white man, his families on the earth, they're the most dominant on the earth. This is their world. They're the rich and powerful. You know, they're the strong on the earth. You know, compared to the other nations, they're at the top. You know, because it's prophesied in the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24, that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Even Yahweh Shai spoke about Esau being the rich man that lived luxuriously every day. So there's a difference in the life of Esau and the lives of the world and the lives of Israel. Especially Israel, because Israel is at the bottom. Israel is the tail on this earth. You know, the poor, when the scripture speaks about the poor, the widow, the fatherless, it's referring to Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, man. Because also when this word is for Israel, it's for Israel. The Lord only care for Israel. You know? It says, for there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. Yeah, Esau, again, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Esau was given this earth. You know, and his strength is firm on the world. You know, it tell you he liveth by the sword. You know? And again, you know, I don't know, I said this in the lesson, when the prophets and teachers speak about and speak against and prophesy against Esau Edom, you know, a lot of times they're mainly focusing on America, because America is part of Edom. It's part of that nation. Even though this is a country full of peoples, full of different races and nationalities and ethnicities, it's ultimately ran by Edom. This is his chief city. This is Basra. So when we prophesy against Edom, we're you know, a lot of times we're focusing on America, because America is part of him. You know, it's just like Rome was part of Roman Empire. You know, it says, for there are no bands in their strength. I mean, in their death, but their strength is firm. Yeah, America, military strength. You know, the U.S. dollar for a long time has been strong on the earth. America is the so-called back-to-back World War champions, if you will. You know? When shit got hard for Britain, they went to America. They sought after America's help. So America was strong on earth. You know, it says they are not in trouble as other men, and that's concerning them in general as a people. When you look at Esau in America and in the world, they're good, man. Generational wealth, they're not under the curses, they're not plagued like other men, right? They're not oppressed like other men. You know, they have more opportunities than other men. You know, just talking about the white man in general, the white man and woman and child, man. You know, so they're not in trouble like other men. They live in gated communities while the so-called black and brown is in the slums and the hoods. They could freely travel and live life to the fullest. While Jake only see if the gates, you know, or only see if the slums people and get killed in the slums and die in the slums in the hoods. You know? When a so-called black man, woman or child, or black man or woman, or Latino man and woman, Native Indian man and woman, if they want to make it in this world, get rich, they gotta sell their soul, man. That's why it say in the book of Luke, chapter 16, in a parable of the rich man and Lazarus, right? It tell you that poor Lazarus man in his low estate desired the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. So the so-called black man, Spanish man, Latino man, the Native Indian man, we desire, you know, the crumbs which fell from his table, man. You know, it says neither are they plagued like other men. So they not plagued like how the black man is plagued. You know, being oppressed. When you look at, you know, policemen, you know, cops, where they dwell at? They dwell in the hoods, man. Looking for Jake to do evil, looking to fuck over Jake, man. You know, so they don't suffer that as well. So like, bear with me. Just like, bear with me. Little distraction. Archon says, they are not plagued like other men. You know, it says they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain. Now, if you were able to ask all the nations what country and what people are the most proud on earth, they say the so-called white man. They say America, man. You know, because ultimately the people know that this blue green-eyed devil, they're devils, man. They're evil. You know, and they know that, man. Everybody know it. You know, it says violence covereth them as a garment, and yeah, they're the violent that Bible speak of. In fact, I think John the Revelator called Esau the violent, and he was speaking about how, you know, at that certain time, of not John the Revelator, I meant to say John the Baptist, and Yahweh Shai, at that time Israel was under that dragon, which was the Roman Empire. You know, and that was the time when the three tribes, the southern kingdom, really dwelt in that land. You know, but yeah, the dragon was over Jerusalem at a point, right? And Israel, they were suffering violence under that dragon, under the Roman Empire, man. And John the Baptist touched on that. He spoke about the kingdom of heaven, which is Israel. It's not a place, it's a people first. He spoke about how the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence. You know, by who? By the Roman Empire, by E. And the violence taken by force. And guess what? This man, Israel, the so-called Negro man, Latino man, Native Indian man, have been suffering violence for so long, man. Right, when it comes to the Native Indians, which are Israelites as well. You know, what the Spaniards did, you know, to Jake, to the northern kingdom, to the land tribes, to what E did to the so-called Africans, you know, which a lot of them people in Africa, they're Jakes. Not all of them, but there's still Jakes in there. There's still Judites, Jews in Africa who don't know who they are. So E, this man is the violent. It says their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than a heart could wish. Yeah, and a lot of people think that Ishmael, the so-called Arab man, they're rich. They're rich. But when it comes to E, especially when it comes to these rich banking families, these right, these elites, they got more than Ishmael. And if they don't, they do, you know, because not only that, they only got more in a sense of riches or substance, but they got more in the sense of weaponry, if you will, if you understand what I'm trying to say, because that's part of the resources of the world, you know. You know, having these nuclear bombs, these weapons of mass destruction, that's part of his possessions, if you know, that's part of his possessions, you know. Your rich is not only your possessions, but also your armory, your weaponry. That's part of your possessions as well. So he have more than a heart could wish for. And in a certain sense, he have more than those Arabs, man, those rich Arabs, in a certain sense. You know, so militarily, financially, it's, you know, they have it all, you know, if you will, in this world. You know, you got a lot of demons out here who think Arabs are Esau or Edomites. They're not Edomites. They're Ishmaelites. You know, if you understand prophecy, you understand that. Because no matter how you see it, the so-called white man is more wickeder than the Arab man. So how could the Arab man be the border of wickedness? You know, that's a cut right there. Because Yahweh called Esau the border of wickedness. You know. But let's continue on. It says they are corrupt, and right, it says they have more than a heart could wish. So Esau, he got it. Now in a certain sense, them Arabs may have, you know, more riches, you know, but Esau, he got it, you know. And guess what? What's happening now? Those same rich Arabs are being used by Israel, man, by the small hats, man. You know, the Saudi Arabia, UAE, I think. You know, I think those two separate things, but they're not helping their own people. They're still in league with Israel. And when you read the scriptures, when it comes to Eve, man, this man have his hand in every kingdom, in every nation, man. So this man's strength is firm on the earth. It likened to him his power to, I think, a green bay tree that spreadeth itself, that compasseth the land. You know how a big tree whose branches just branch out? That's Eve, man. So this man is a powerhouse on the earth as a people, as a nation, starting with America, as well as the Western world as well. It says, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. And that's another, using these propagandas, these using the media. Man, this man will oppress people, but hide himself. But what's the word I could use? Justify himself when he doeth wickedly and evil to another people. That's what he always done. That's what he do. It says, they speak loftily, they set their mouth against the heavens. Yeah, they speak against Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. They speak against the truth. They're liars, right? Because ultimately Esau, he's the father of a lot of these Western religions, which they are Western religion. Christianity, that's a Western religion. The Catholic religion, that's the Western religion. That's Esau's religion. He's the father of that, which is full of lies. Right, saying God is a white being, or implying the Son of God to be a white being, implying the angels to be white angels, making false icons, portraying the Son of God to be a long-haired, blue-eyed, or green-eyed white person. Which is bullshit. That's blasphemy, because white skin, that's a curse. That's uncleanness in the flesh, which is ultimately wicked in the sight of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. So technically Esau, him being white Caucasian, he's subhuman because he lacketh melanin. So portraying God to be a white God, portraying Yahushua to be a white Messiah, that's blasphemy. So he coming against the truth. He coming against the heavens. He justified wickedness on the earth. He let the wickedness go free. He let the wicked roam free. He have laws and legislations in place to protect the wicked and their wickedness. Right? Even in America, you got a lot of I think a lot of states that where there is where bestiality is legal, man, which is wicked, man. This man, he's the base low vowel of the earth. He's the most wicked. He's the border of wickedness. So this man, he's Satan that the Bible speak of. In fact, let's get this real quick. Let's get the book of Sirach. And this is why it's called for us to, all of us who believe, to separate ourselves from him and from his idealism, from his ways, from his turn, from his witchcraft and sorcery. Right, to turn away, separate ourselves from the darkness and the shadow of this world, which ultimately came from Eve, right? From the different religions, from the different philosophies, from his perspectives, which I'm telling you, a lot of the perspective that a lot of people hold in these last days, right? A lot of this generation hold. You know, if you talk to people, you watch what they say, you can tell they're part of the matrix, if you will. You know, they're part of this system. They're a part of this world, if you will. You know, being distracted. You know, being a damn near product of this country, man. You know, woman can lay with woman, justifying it, agreeing with it, consenting it onto it. Man laying with man. You know, the so-called black man, African American man, woman, and child, they're products of Esau. You know, just, you know, following in the matrix that was arranged by E to a certain degree. You know, the women are whores, the men are whoremongers, adulterers and adulteress. The female have became masculine and proud and prideful, so-called independent. That's all because of E. Marriages is being kept disorderly when it's supposed to be kept with reverence and honor. You know? Get Sirach. So this is the world that E made, and this same world with him shall be destroyed. Now, when I say the world being destroyed, when I speak about that, I'm not saying the whole world is going to be destroyed in general, which the people, the nations, they're going to be destroyed, which that's prophesied when Yahweh Shai come. First of all, America will be destroyed by nuclear fire, by nuclear destruction. But when Yahweh Shai come, he's also going to send a fire on the earth by way of his heavenly military, his heavenly army. You know, because the angels, they're the army of the Heavenly Father. And Yahweh Shai, he was given all power and authority in heaven and in earth. So he's going to lead that army. And with that army, he's going to put down the nations. And that's why Paul said that. You know, Paul spoke about Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach, putting down all rule and all authority and powers. Daniel, he saw a vision concerning that stone, which ultimately represents Yahweh Shai. And I'm speaking about Daniel chapter 2, where he was given a vision. Well, I think it was Nebuchadnezzar given a vision. Daniel, he interpreted it, or I think he presented it, if you will. But I don't know, it was one of them. But Daniel, he was showed. It was a vision mentioned in the book of Daniel chapter 2 concerning that stone, basically destroying the feet, which represents the EU, NATO, America, So when Yahweh Shai come back, the second coming of Yahweh Shai, he's ultimately going to put down the nations. He's going to destroy the nations, man, with that military. And guess what? They're going to travel by way of a so-called UFO, which are ultimately called chariots of the Most High, chariots of the angels, which are traveling vehicles, which will ultimately be used as a weapon, right? And in these movies they show UFOs destroying or having some type of destroying power, which ultimately these angels forces, if you will, their powers. They have their different abilities. I'm sure they have ability given from God. So when Yahweh Shai come, they're going to be destroying. They're going to be sending forth laser beams against the nations, and that's prophesied in the book of Revelation. Speak about Yahweh Shai smiting the nations, a sharp sword proceeding from the mouth of Yahweh Shai. That's all symbolic. So Yahweh Shai, he's literally going to kill and slaughter the nations, man. You know? So, so the world itself may not be destroyed, but the people will, and America will literally be destroyed, and Israel will be destroyed as well. And I'm sure different parts will be destroyed by missiles and chariots, by the chariots of God as well, by the so-called UFOs. You know, right? Because right, and I wanted to say this: the world and the nations, they have their air force. What makes them think that God don't have an air force? Technically, the Heavenly Father and Yahweh, they have a heavenly celestial force, shall I say. They have an air force, and they're going to use it, man, in these last days. But that's a prophecy for a whole nother time. So, Salaki, I'm taking too long to bring it up. I think it may be in, I think Wisdom of Solomon, Salakia. Archon, this is the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 21, verse 27 says, when the ungodly, and who's the ungodly? It's the so-called white man. When the ungodly curseth Satan, he curseth his own soul. So that's another example on how when the scripture speaks about Satan or the devil, it's referring to Esau, the so-called white man. Right? And when you go into that word Satan in the Hebrew, I think in the Hebrew and in the Greek, it speaks about one who opposes or someone who's adverse or an adversary. And who's been coming against all that is good, all that is mentioned in the scriptures, all the laws, all the ways of that which is right. Giving putting laws and legislations in place to let the adulteress go free and to be protected and to be a destroyer of homes. Had made it so that when a woman, and ultimately the whole world been influenced by right? But I'm gonna get on that. Have made it so in this Western world, in America as well, and in other countries and amongst the earth, have made it so that when a woman get bored or be desirous of another man while they're in a marriage, they could just use any excuse, man, to file for divorce. When that's wicked, man. That's a marriage should not be undone, man. But now in this modern age, the woman, they understand that they hold the power in today's system. And that's one of many things, this matter, if you will. But in today's age, women just use anything to dump a man, be bored or whatever, and dump a man and take all his money. And another thing that I see or that is said when it comes to Saudi, for example, Dubai. I done see what the hell be going on in Dubai, man. That place is westernized, whether the world want to acknowledge that or not. Dubai, even though it is better than most places on the earth, it's better than America. Dubai and these Arabian countries and places on the earth has been westernized and Americanized heavily. Now, a foolish man won't be able to see it, but it has been. When you look at the woman, you look at a lot of these and Muslims, they supposed to be, because we give credit where it's due, even though they're in an idolatrous religion and they're worshiping idols. and that book, the Quran is bullshit, falsehood. The Bible is the truth. Yahweh is the Most High God. Yahweh Shai is the Messiah. That's the truth. But the Muslims, these Islamic people, they better than a lot of the nations, man. And we acknowledge that, right? The woman there, they practice order, they practice modesty. A man can have multiple women. Hey, we don't see nothing wrong with that. But as far as other things with the religion, the God, and that's bullshit. But now when you see you go on social media, you watch these posts, you see how these Muslims act now. You see how these Islamic subscribers move. You see these Muslim females, because I got TikTok and stuff like that. I be on TikTok from time to time, social media, Instagram from time to time. You watch these videos of these Muslim females, they corrupted as hell, man. They are corrupted as hell, and they do wickedly with a damn whatever that shit is called on their head, man. Right, so Esau, the so-called white man, have westernized and Americanized and have demonized the whole world, man. His sorcery, his witchcraft have influenced the whole world, and he spreaded himself like a green bay tree, if you will. So don't think them niggas in Dubai ain't westernized. It is, man. If you take a look, it's westernized, man. Prostitution is being, is done over there. The women go on to be harlots over there. Pride is over there. Because ultimately the whole world, because Esau, he's been given the whole earth. So even the Arab, man, they follow in the steps of Esau to a certain degree in certain areas, if you will, in life. Because for so long, America, with its witchcraft and sorcery, for example, Hollywood, right? America ruled the music industry of the earth. America done ruled the entertainment industry of the earth, the movie industry. And movies and television and music, that's something that that is dear to all man's hearts on the earth. And I remember I looked this up. Why is America so popular? I don't know if I looked that up exactly, but it basically mentioned that after World War II, the world became focused, if you will, on the cultures of America. So again, Hollywood, the music industry, the entertainment industry, that has always been displayed to the world. And we know, those of us in this truth, we know how music can be used as a tool to destroy the minds. We know how Esau pushed a lot of his sorcery and witchcraft through Hollywood. So America has always been in the spotlight, if you will, amongst the nations, amongst the countries, amongst the superpowers. Little Chinese people watching what's going on in America. African people watching what's going on in America. Even you watch. I come across different videos of poor stricken people. Arab people, they be mentioning celebrities. You know, so the eyes always been upon America. You know, and when you're in the spotlight, when you're influential, even as a person, as an individual, you're the most influential. You know, in America, this country being in the spotlight for a long time, became very influential amongst the nations, man. So don't think the Arab world is not is pure. They not. They definitely been westernized. You know. You know. But I'm gonna close off on that. I'm not gonna continue this lesson. It's been too long. But Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. I want to give double honors to the elder apostles at Great Millstone, and to the elder bishops, I think I probably said that already, but to the elder bishops and to the elder upcoming elders, of GMS and of the affiliates of GMS. We give peace and blessings unto the elect. And salute shalom to the fellow laborers pushing this truth. And all praises and honor and glory be to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Shalom.